Barca elects new president. It's a record-breaking weekend in the Premier League. Bayern Munich atop again, a transfer roundup, and Emoji Mondays all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the OneFootballers, and this is the Daily News. First up, and with 54% of the vote, Juan Laporta is back as the Barcelona president, taking over from disgraced Josep Bartomeu, who resigned a few months earlier. He's back at the helm where he was for 7 years earlier this century, and during that time, of course, he was the man who brought Pep Guardiola into the fold as the first team coach, also oversaw the signings of Ronaldinho, Eto'o, glorious players in Barcelona's history, and of course was there when Messi made his big breakthrough. Now, as he regains the presidency, he has always said the whole time that the main first task is to get Lionel Messi to sign a new contract. After seeing Messi and his son vote for the new president, he's clearly decided and said what he's known all along, that Lionel Messi loves the club and that he's going to stay. And of all the speculation of late, I actually now think there is a possibility that he will sign a new contract and remain with the club for the rest of his career. If he does that, well, it kind of helps Barcelona on the pitch as they chase down Atletico Madrid, who are involved in a very good 1-1 draw against Real Madrid. I say very good because it was a good match. It's probably not so good for Diego Simeone's side, who were leading from the first few minutes right up until the last before Karim Benzema rescued a point for the visitors. It now means that they stay 5 points clear of Real Madrid, but they're just 3 points clear of Barcelona, although they do have a game in hand. As for Barcelona, like we mentioned with the new president, there will be another big order of his, and that is to reduce some of the ridiculous debt that the club has. But who knows, maybe this is the turning point. Maybe this is the start of a new era, a new dawn at Barca, and we can see them back to their very best, taking home title after title. Next up though, and to a massive weekend in the Premier League. 3 stunning games on Sunday. The best was that 0-0 draw between West Brom and Newcastle. Scintillating football. Sorry guys, I'm just kidding. Of course, one of the biggest ones was Manchester United against Manchester City. And in fact, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's men went to the Etihad, said, you know what, screw your 21 game winning streak, we're here to take over, and that they did. A 2-0 victory is not only a fantastic result away at Manchester City, away at your biggest rivals, away at the team who's on a ridiculous run of form, but it really should give the whole squad and the fan base a real big push in belief under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Manchester United sit comfortably inside the Champions League places. Yes, there's still a hell of a amount of points behind Manchester City, and Pep Guardiola's men more than likely will go on to win the Premier League title this season, but what it means for the future is that United will probably feel like they can compete now. 1 or 2 more signings, and if they can hold on to a few and develop some of the guys they've already got in their squad, we could actually see a title race next season. I'm not ruling out a title race this season. It's just that Manchester City are looking very good despite yesterday's loss. Anyway, also Bruno Fernandes, a goal against the top 6. Who would have thought it? Despite this though, there was some more unbelievable football to be seen, and we're not even done. This is the second of 3 games I want to talk about. The second, Tottenham against Crystal Palace. Gareth Bale, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son on absolute fire. Gareth Bale is looking a shadow of his former self, who was a shadow of his former self. Basically, he was brilliant at Madrid. Things went a bit south. Came to Tottenham, wasn't going so well. Bam. Now he is back in form. Another 2 goals yesterday, both assisted by Harry Kane, who then went on to go and grab his 2 goals as well, meaning that Spurs ran out 4-1 winners and creep ever closer to the top 4. In fact, Heung-min Son setting up Harry Kane for the 4th goal of the night meant that now they are the most successful duo in Premier League history in terms of assisting one another in a single season with 14 goals, and there's still 11 games to go. On top of this, it now means that Kane as well has 29 goal contributions, that's goals and assists, in 25 Premier League games. And although in the last few weeks, you can find the video here, I talked about my top 7 predictions for Player of the Year, I think a few of them would have moved by now. Maybe Bruno's gone up a few spots, Harry Kane as well. Lastly though, and on the Premier League record-breaking news, well, it's Liverpool, and they keep breaking their own record every single week for home losses in a row. And no disrespect to Fulham, who've actually been on a very good run of form, so I won't say they're a bad team. That's not exactly a loss to a major team. Like the Manchester City and the Chelsea loss, fair enough, but Liverpool fans, what on earth is going on? They lost yet again at home to Fulham, 1-0. Salah pipped in his own box and unbelievably stayed on his feet. And Mario Lemina scored a goal, and Scott Parker's side defensively were brilliant, and they saw off the competition. And Jurgen Klopp obviously saying this is a low point in his career because, well, it is, but we've kind of seen this before. For those of you that followed his career pre-Liverpool days at Dortmund, they were so good, winning 2 titles, and then they had this massive implosion erosion with a few injuries where they found themselves at the bottom of the league for quite a fair chunk of the season. Could we be seeing the same thing happening now with Klopp's Liverpool? I don't think it's going to be going that bad that they're going to finish bottom of the league. They may struggle to even get into the top 6 though. On the contrary to this though, and there's been loads of talk about whether Jurgen Klopp will now walk, will he leave at the end of the season, will he sign an extension to his contract, this, that and the other. There are talks that Stevem Gerrard could be the next manager of Liverpool, whenever that may be. And his side at the weekend, his Rangers side, won the title. Finally, Celtic's domination has been ended. No longer will they be able to win 10 in a row, as Rangers took home the title in the earliest possible fashion. First week of March, and they're already title winners. Celtic slip up over the weekend meant that Gerrard took home his first league title ever as a player and as a manager, and it meant that now Rangers are the most successful domestic club side in world football with their 55th league title. But actually, there isn't really enough time in the daily news to talk about all of that there, so later on today I will be bringing out a video talking about Gerrard, Rangers, potentially moving to Liverpool, what's going on at Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, this, that and the other, and a few transfers too, so make sure you look out for that later today. But next up, we're moving to the Bundesliga, where Bayern Munich not only regained top spot, but it was in a thrilling game against Dortmund in which Erling Haaland well and truly said, you know what, I'm not stat padding. I'm not just scoring against any team, I'm scoring against the big boys. I'm pulling up trees in world football. Like 10 minutes in to the game and Haaland's already scored twice, and I swear to God, Thomas Meunier has a lot to answer for. For those of you who watched the game, Meunier was through and all he had to do was just square it to Haaland, who would have tapped in his hat-trick, tapped in for 3-0 Dortmund. It was after like 20-25 minutes. And what a game it would have been. I mean, Bayern probably still would have won, but still, Meunier scuffed the cross and he ruined it. And anyway, Bayern Munich came back to win. Lewandowski showed that there's plenty of fight in the old dog just yet. I can't think of a more like personal battle within a team battle. Like, yeah, you've scored 2 Haalands. Yeah, you think you're the new big up and comer. I've still got it. I being Lewandowski, of course, not actually me. Lewandowski bagged a hat-trick alongside Leon Goretzka's goal, which meant that Bayern Munich won 4-2 and overtook top spot from RB Leipzig, who had earlier taken it in the day as well. And honestly, you can't think of anything from here but Bayern Munich charging towards yet another Bundesliga title. As for Dortmund, they're a few points out of the Champions League places. Now, normally, you'd think, yeah, they can get it back. I still think they've got enough in the squad to get back into the Champions League spots. But if they don't, this is massive for the future of some of their players. I know there's loads of young players who have got huge, long careers ahead of them, and they've got plenty of time to play in the Champions League. The problem is, it provides 2 massive issues for Dortmund to face. Firstly, are they going to be able to deal with the fact that they don't have the finances coming in for the Champions League? And secondly, so many of the players are going to have their heads turned by potentially teams who are in the Champions League, especially when it comes to like of Sancho and Haaland. Of course, like I mentioned, Sancho and Haaland have got time to get into the Champions League, but they're going to be wanting to play there every single season. They've both shown they can play at that level. They've both done fantastically well for Dortmund in the last 2 seasons. So are they going to want to stick around to play in the Europa League? Or even worse, maybe not even play in European competition at all if things go even further south for Dortmund. Next up then, a quick round-up of the rest of the day's transfer news, where Zlatan Ibrahimovic has hinted that he could be rejoining the Swedish international setup and make a return to the national team. Elsewhere, and Marek Hamsik, the former Napoli midfielder, is currently in Sweden to join IFK Gothenburg after leaving the Chinese Super League. Elsewhere, and actually talking of former players and former players winning titles, former Barcelona midfielder Xavi has won his first league title as a manager with Qatari side Al Sadd. And lastly but not least, West Ham manager David Moyes has said he will not be selling Declan Rice even for 100 million, which is a pretty good thing to say because I don't think anyone's buying him for 100 million anyway, so actually it doesn't really make much sense. Next up, and Friday feels. This is where you guys left your football league predictions in the comment section on Friday's daily news, and for those of you who got them right but aren't read out, I'm so sorry, there's just not enough time to read them all out. Anyway, Rida Ramlawi guessed that Atletico Madrid against Real Madrid would be a 1-1 draw, as we mentioned, with that last gasp Benzema equaliser. Bryce Clay guessed that Bayern would beat Dortmund, and Colin Red guessed that Rangers would take home their 55th league title, which they did, as we mentioned, after Celtic slipped up at Dundee. So finally then, we come to this week's Emoji Mondays. This is where we on OneFootball throw a couple of emojis down over some of the weekend's hottest action. First up, best player of the weekend goes to Harry Kane. Who else? 2 goals, 2 assists, an insane all-round performance. Lewandowski could have won it as well, but I just think as a complete performance, Harry Kane was absolutely unstoppable. Next up, and the crazy moment of the weekend, Granit Xhaka. Oh my word. Guys, if you haven't seen this, what is he doing? He's trying to pass the ball inside his own about 10 yards out, just outside the 6-yard box, kicks it straight into Chris Wood's stomach and the ball bounces into the back of the net, meaning that Burnley took a point from their game with Arsenal. A nightmare for Granit Xhaka, and the best result of the weekend does go to Manchester United, a brilliant victory 2-0 away at Manchester City. That's all from me then. Make sure you guys let me know your Emoji Mondays down below in the comment section, your thoughts on the daily news, and you'll obviously check out everything else we've got going on by clicking here. And until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you guys later.